Hi, I'm Migs. Today, you and I are on a mission to find the best barbacoa taco in Houston, Texas. We're going to 11 restaurants in search of the perfect barbacoa taco, which should be flavorful, juicy, and succulent. I will also be taking into consideration the value or the worth it factor. Oh, and all these restaurants are local-ish. And we'll be eating everything right here in my highly optimized thermoregulatory mobile exploration studio. S-Class. So let's head to the first place. Immediately, all this fat from the barbacoa just coats the inside of my mouth. That beefy flavor is there, and it's salted perfectly. These flour tortillas add this gluteny chewiness to the taco that you just don't get whenever you're eating it on corn. If you look at the tortilla itself, you can just see the pockets of fat or lard, and just adds even more juiciness to this taco. Then of course you get the crunch from the onions, and the freshness of the cilantro helps to counterbalance the chewiness from the tortilla and the richness of the barbacoa. Lastly, that salsa verde is one of the creamier ones I've eaten. You can tell they put a lot of avocado in it, and it adds even more juiciness to an already really juicy taco. I didn't even mention that this taco is not a small taco by any means. It's a quality taco. You get a pretty good amount of it, and for only $1.99, it's going to be hard to find a better value barbacoa. Obviously, Tacos La Bala is where it's at, and I wish I could stay in this parking lot and just eat their tacos all day long, but unfortunately, we have to move on. The meat here is really well rendered. It's soft, it's succulent, it's juicy. You really do need 2 tortillas to hold it up because it's just packed with flavor, juice, and beef fat. The salsa verde has a mild kick to it. And those really chunky onions help to add crunch and freshness and just break up all that succulent barbacoa. So you get some textural variety there. When I think of a barbacoa taco, this is exactly the kind of taco I'm thinking about. Tacos Tierra Caliente, aka hot land tacos. And now the name really makes sense because your hot self needs to land here and eat these tacos. But we're moving on. Man, that is a fatty taco. That beef cheek is just enveloped in fat and it's super moist. The meat here is so unctuous. I'm actually really happy that they put on this onion and the cilantro because it adds some crunch and a little bit of freshness to it. There's a gentle lingering of spice after each bite here in the back of my throat, and it's because of the smokiness from that adobo. It's not this heavy punch of spice. It's more of a gentle jab, just to let you know that there is some chili hiding in there. You know what would go perfect with this taco is some tequila, which they also sell. Salud. Kidding. It's hand sanitizer. Don't be drinking and driving, okay? We have so many places to go to today. Alright, next stop. So immediately the first thing that hits me is the aromatic scent of that pickled onion and that cilantro. It's a very potent smell. That brisket is perfectly moist. It's like every strand of beef is just covered in that unctuous beefy fattiness. The pickled onion really cuts down on the unctuousness of the beef. It has a lot of acidic components. The tanginess of the pickled onions actually continues to linger in the back of my throat. That epazote aioli actually contributes this subtly refreshing mintiness to the taco. And this corn tortilla is thick. And I don't mean thick, I mean thick. This is a very well balanced taco. It's juicy, it's meaty and beefy, and there are a lot of acidic and fresh components to help temper that beefiness. If you want a unique, tangy, but balanced barbacoa taco, then you'll find it here at El Topo. Yeah, it's a big one. Okay, so this taco is really reminiscent of a cheesy gordita crunch. And I mean that in the best possible way. That comte encrusted flour tortilla is just crispy, cheesy, chewy, all at once. The barbacoa is made from brisket, which is pretty much the most Texan cut of meat there is.
God bless Texas.
That barbacoa is just unctuous, and it's meaty, and it has a distinct flavor and texture of rendered brisket. Pair that with just a smattering of toppings that they put on this taco, and it's a very creamy taco. You get the creaminess from the avocado, that mayonnaise, and then you get the freshness and the crunch from the corn. It takes an already really juicy taco and adds even more creaminess to it. And man, I just can't get over that Parmesan crisp like tortilla crust. That was a very rich and heavy taco, but we still have more to go, so we're moving on. This barbacoa has been cooking in the chili sauce, and wow, it is it is a bomb of flavor. Chili is the dominant flavor here, but it's deeply rich and complex. The spice level isn't killer, but it's definitely making its presence known in your mouth. So you're meant to dip it in this birria, which is pretty much all the meaty, flavor-packed braising liquid left over after they remove the barbacoa. Okay, wow, so my mouth is just being assaulted with waves and waves of chili flavor. Like, it's unrelenting. You know, truthfully, this is a fantastic hangover food. I feel like it's giving me this life I didn't even know that I needed. If you love flavor and spice, then La Calle Tacos is where you need to go. But we're moving on to the next spot. This barbacoa is very tender. It's been rendered down very nicely, not rough or stringy at all. Since it's from the cachete, or the cheek of the cow, it has a very pronounced beef flavor to it. There's also a substantial amount of fat in here, so you're not lacking for any moisture or juiciness. I really like how they grilled the tortillas on the griddle top whenever you first order them. It adds some nice char flavor to it. Also adds a little bit of crispiness to the taco. The onions and cilantro are nice. You add some crunch, you add some cilantro. Does a very good job of breaking up all the soft textures in there. And that salsa verde is really good. That's like the perfect amount of heat for me. I'm not that good when it comes to heat, but I do like a good amount of spice when I can tolerate it. It's not gonna just burn your tongue off, but you definitely know it's there. It's an all-around well-balanced and excellent taco. There are no crazy adventurous flavors here, but just like my first car, and actually this car also, it's very reliable. If you're craving barbacoa, this will get the job done. So La Casita sells 3 different kinds of barbacoa. They all come from the head of the cow, and they are the carne, the lengua, and the mix. I decided to get the carne, which is the cachete, the beef cheek, with a slice of tongue in there, and the mix, which is pretty much the rest of the head. That way you get the experience of eating the whole head of the cow. This barbacoa, it just melts in your mouth. The cheek and the tongue add a very powerful, pronounced beef flavor, while the mixed barbacoa, which is the rest of the head, contribute this velvety mouth feel. It's not to say that each type of barbacoa by itself is not remarkably delicious, but together they add up to this barbacoa that is just greater than the sum of its parts. La Casita steams their barbacoa overnight for about 15 to 16 hours, and that steaming process just helps to retain all the moisture in the meat. You won't find onions, you won't find cilantro here. The only accompaniment you get to this barbacoa is the salsa verde, which is on the spicier side. It just adds this freshness and helps to cut through the unctuousness of the beef. You know, great things come in small packages. La Casita is no exception to that. It may mean the little house, and this little house is serving up a powerful barbacoa. So the barbacoa here from El Hidalguense is made with lamb instead of beef. So if you've never had lamb, this is actually a really excellent dish to introduce you to it. Lamb has a very distinct earthy, gamey flavor, and it actually comes from a kind of fat that's present in lamb that's not present in beef. And there's plenty of that fat in this barbacoa taco because it's pretty succulent. They have this massive pot where this lamb is just slowly steaming and rendering down, and when you order it, someone just reaches their arm down into this massive metal pit and scoops up all this succulent lamb barbacoa. They use firewood as the heat source, so there is a tinge of smokiness here in the meat. And their tortillas don't come from a package. It's made fresh every day around lunchtime, and it's just a really tender and soft tortilla. El Hidalguense cooks food from the Mexican state of Hidalgo. It's a state known for its barbacoa, and obviously they're doing it right here. And with that, we're moving on to the next spot. So Killen's is known for their barbecue. I'm hoping that this barbacoa has the same amount of Texas smoke to it.
Yeah.
So that taco is definitely very smoky. It's definitely rendered down really well. That meat just submits to your teeth as you chew on it. I definitely see where the Tex-Mex portion comes in because you get hints of the woodiness from that pecan wood, and you also get the spice of the adobo. And that spice and that smoke just lingers in your mouth. I've only had 2/3 of this taco and it feels like I smoked a cigar. In a good way. There are some pickled onions and cilantro in here, but honestly this is just a smoke bomb that just went off in your mouth. If you like Texan style barbecue, then this is definitely a barbacoa to check out. Okay.
Wow.
So, this is one of the most refined tacos I've ever eaten. I almost feel awkward eating it dressed the way I am. I feel like I should probably put on something a little bit more formal. The first thing that comes to my mind when I'm eating this is how clean that lamb flavor is. And I mean that lamb flavor is crystal clear, clean, and pure. The lamb is aromatic, it's floral, and because it was slow roasted in agave skin, there's this subtle sweetness that's been infused into the meat. The refined gaminess of the lamb completely stands on its own. You don't even really need any toppings on this. Don't be fooled by its looks. This is a high-rise taco, because this is a taco that looks like a street taco, acts like a street taco, but it started in the streets, had a big break, and now is living the high-rise life. Hey, if this video has made you hungry, then make sure you tap that like button. Before I give my winner, it's important to know that I think each of these places is ridiculously delicious. I absolutely recommend any of them, and I'll continue to go out and eat at all of them. Try each of these places for yourself and make your own judgment call as to who makes the best barbacoa in Houston. So with all of that being said, the best barbacoa, in my opinion, comes from La Casita Mexican Products. It had the perfect, beefy, meaty flavor that I was looking for. It was velvety, moist, and I can't get over how luxurious the texture was. It might have had the least amount of toppings, and that's actually a testament to how good the barbacoa was. With that, I think our mission was a success. If I missed your favorite spot, or if you agree, disagree with my winner, let me know down in the comments below. Thank you so much for joining me. Stay hungry, and God bless. Hey, if you made it this far in the video, then you must really enjoy watching me stuff my face. Make sure to tap that subscribe button and hit that bell icon so that you'll be notified every time I post a new video.